Today, I want to talk about a difficult topic. I want to talk about the clients that you don't like, because somewhere during your early career phase, you're going to find yourself having a strong reaction to a client. Maybe you like them too much. Maybe you don't like them enough. Maybe you actively dislike them. It's really tempting for you to see this as a personal failure. In fact, some modern therapies will support this view and will treat your emotional reactions as something that you just need to get over so that you can get on with doing the work of therapy. But there's another way to think about this. What if we stop viewing therapy as something that we do to clients and start looking at therapy as a microcosm of two humans interacting with each other? What if the way you're reacting to your client is not something to get over, but is in fact information? What if the reaction that you're having tells you something about how other significant people in this person's life react to them? What would life be like if everyone in your world found you boring? What would your life be like if the most common reaction toward you is caution and defensiveness and you just put people on edge? What would life be like on the other side if you provoked rescuing and protectiveness from all of the people around you? This is a different way of thinking. And in this way of thinking, your feelings aren't something to be gotten over so that you can do therapy. They are the measurable dependent variable in a natural experiment. And in this natural experiment, you get to see in real time how another human being interacts and what patterns of behavior and emotion and interpersonal style stands in the way of them being the best version of themselves. Years ago, Freud coined the term repetition compulsion. And what he meant by that was an almost spooky way that the same bad things keep happening to the same people. But maybe there's nothing spooky about it. If a person has a fixed attitude or a set of beliefs about how the world works and about how people are, that leads to them behaving in specific ways. And here's the kicker: the world will then respond back to them in a way that reinforces their beliefs. Let me give you an example. If you never let people know your emotional needs, there's a really good chance that your emotional needs are going to go unmet. And the longer your needs for love and care go unmet, the more that you come to believe that it's because of you, you're unlovable, or you're defective, or you're somehow unworthy. Repetition compulsion can be felt in each therapeutic interaction. Now, let's assume that you, as the individual therapist, don't have any particular sensitivity or vulnerability in a particular area. You can assume that the way that you are feeling towards a client is the same as the way that other people are going to feel towards that person. If you want to help them out, if you want to refer them on, or if you want to put their overinflated ego in its place, that feeling will have been felt by dozens, if not hundreds of people before you, and there's a better than fair chance that they've acted on it. But here's the key. If that desire for you to put them in their place or to refer them on or to reject them was going to be helpful, it would have already helped them because someone else has already done it. If you want nothing more to do with the person in front of you, there's a really good chance that you are just the latest in a long line of people who has rejected that person. And your rejection is just going to continue their deep belief about the unreliability of other people and the untrustworthiness of others. So what do you do differently? Well, for a start, we've got to stop viewing our emotions and our feelings as things that need to be pushed down so that we can get on with therapy. And we've got to start viewing our feelings as messages that we need to understand. Secondly, and I'm aware for a lot of people in your training, this might be a new way of thinking for you. Don't assume that you've got to figure it out on your own. Your supervisor is not going to tell you off because you have an emotion or because you don't like a client. Talk to your supervisor and try and understand what dynamic is being enacted between you and your client. Remember, it's also possible that this is a you thing, okay? We are not perfect blank slates and we all have emotional reactions. This might not be a client thing. So be humble in recognizing your own vulnerabilities and maybe talk those through with your supervisor too. Finally, you need to make a plan with your supervisor as to how you can create a different relationship for this client. So if you've made it this far through the video, I'm going to give you the key message. The response that a client provokes from you is not the response that they need in order to improve. somehow you've got to figure out a new behavioural pattern with this person. Now, if you're interested in learning more about these ideas, I'd really encourage you to read some contemporary psychodynamic theory. Maybe Theodore Malone or Nancy McWilliams, or even the classic text on interpersonal therapy by Edward Tybor. But remember, not all clients need psychodynamic therapy. Lots of people are going to get better simply by learning new skills and new techniques. Another bunch of people are going to get better just through you listening to them and reflecting their own struggles back to them as they figure it out for themselves. But in any given year, there's going to be a handful of clients who are going to provoke a strong, almost visceral reaction in you as a therapist. For these clients, I really recommend that all early career psychologists develop at least a passing familiarity with psychodynamic ideas. Maybe you can put that on your Christmas list to have a think about over this break.